If you ask almost anyone to name the first mass-produced automobile, they will instantly yell Henry Ford, and they would be completely wrong. Long before the Model T conquered the world, a brilliant engineer named Ransom Eli Olds built a tiny motorized wooden runabout that genuinely put everyday people on the road. It was the legendary Oldsmobile Curved Dash, and it sparked the modern automotive revolution. Before we explore the hilarious and brilliant story of this little machine, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you never miss our deep dives into classic automotive history. To appreciate why this vehicle matters, we must look back at the chaotic year of 1900. At the turn of the 20th century, the automobile was not a practical tool for commuting. It was an outrageously expensive, complicated plaything, built strictly for wealthy eccentrics who liked alarming pedestrians and terrifying livestock. Most early automobiles were over-engineered mechanical nightmares that broke down every 10 minutes and required a personal steam fitter or professional mechanic just to leave the driveway. Ransom Eli Olds noticed this absurdity and realized that regular working people did not need a luxury yacht on wheels. They simply wanted an honest, reliable, motorized buggy that would never catch pneumonia, drop dead, or kick them in the ribs. Olds spent the year 1900 building several experimental prototypes in his Detroit facility, testing out electric batteries, steam boilers, and single-cylinder gasoline power plants. He planned to offer a wide catalog of models, but destiny took a can of fuel and burned his business plan to the ground. In March 1901, a catastrophic fire swept through the main Olds Motor Works factory, reducing nearly all machinery, blueprints, and prototypes to smoldering rubble within minutes. According to automotive legend, a quick-acting timekeeper named James Brady frantically rolled a single prototype out into the street right before the roof collapsed. That lone survivor was the lightweight gasoline runabout, officially called the Model R, known to history as the Curved Dash. With his manufacturing plant destroyed and his savings hanging by a thread, Ransom Olds realized that building multiple car models was out of the question. He had to gamble everything on that lone surviving prototype. What happened next surprised everyone. To rebuild his company rapidly, Olds completely reinvented the manufacturing process by creating the world's very first progressive automotive assembly line. While Henry Ford later introduced the moving conveyor belt, Olds was the pioneer who placed wooden chassis on rolling casters, pushing them from station to station so workers could perform specialized tasks. This ingenious method dramatically accelerated production speed and slashed labor expenses overnight. The machine rolling off this innovative line looked like a direct cross between a horse buggy and a winter sled. Its defining visual signature was the graceful, elegant, swept-back wooden front panel that inspired its famous nickname. That curved dashboard was not designed for sleek aerodynamics, since nobody was worrying about wind drag at 15 miles per hour. Instead, the whole design was directly lifted from horse carriages, where curved wooden shields kept mud, rocks, and horse manure from flying into the passenger compartment. In a delightful bit of vintage logic, Oldsmobile eliminated the horse, but kept the manure shield anyway. Underneath the simple wooden bench seat sat a remarkably rugged little engine. The Curved Dash relied on a horizontally positioned single-cylinder four-stroke engine with a displacement of 95.4 cubic inches, roughly equivalent to 1.6 liters. In our modern world, a 1.6-liter engine producing around 5 horsepower sounds like an absolute joke, considering a standard weed trimmer delivers comparable power. However, back in 1901, 5 horsepower pushing a featherweight chassis was plenty of power to tackle cobblestones and gravel trails. The engine used an enormous, heavy iron flywheel to keep the lone piston turning smoothly, producing a steady, rhythmic chuffing noise that led admirers to call the machine the Olds Puffing Billy. Power traveled to the rear wheels through a 2-speed planetary gearbox and a stout roller chain. Operating the vehicle was completely alien by modern driving standards. There was no round steering wheel in sight. Instead, the driver guided the car using a long center-mounted tiller bar that looked like the handle of a sailboat rudder. If you sneezed or twitched while holding the tiller at top speed, you stood a very decent chance of veering straight off the road. Drivers modulated their speed using a foot treadle and shifted gears using a mechanical hand lever mounted beside the seat cushion. Despite its quirky controls, the Curved Dash was a triumph of minimalist engineering. The entire vehicle tipped the scales at only 850 pounds, courtesy of its lightweight wooden body panels and bare-bones steel frame. It topped out at roughly 20 miles per hour, which felt terrifyingly fast on muddy dirt paths full of deep ruts and hidden boulders. Even better, it managed around 30 miles on a single gallon of gasoline. But that's only part of the story. Building an affordable car was meaningless unless skeptical customers actually believed it could survive real-world travel without breaking into pieces. To prove that his motorized buggy was tough enough for the American landscape, Olds devised a daring promotional stunt in late 1901. He ordered an adventurous 28-year-old test driver named Roy Chapin to drive a brand-new Curved Dash all the way from Detroit to the New York Auto Show at Madison Square Garden. Back then, paved intercity roads did not exist, meaning Chapin spent 8 brutal days fighting through bottomless mud bogs, navigating flooded farmlands, and driving on narrow canal towpaths when trails washed out. He performed roadside repairs, patched flat tires in rainstorms, and consumed immense amounts of motor oil. There's another reason this car became so important. When Chapin finally sputtered onto the streets of Manhattan, he was caked in grease and grime. The doorman at the luxurious Waldorf Astoria Hotel was so horrified by Chapin's appearance that he refused him entry, forcing the weary driver to sneak through the kitchen servant's door to deliver his sales report. The stunt made national headlines, and automobile dealers instantly mobbed the hotel lobby to write checks. Selling for an affordable price of $650, which equaled roughly $22,000 today, the Curved Dash instantly became the country's first automotive sales phenomenon. Sales numbers climbed at an astonishing rate. Oldsmobile produced 425 units in 1901, expanded production to 2,500 units in 1902, and pushed past 5,000 cars annually by 1904. Over 19,000 total examples were sold before overall production concluded in 1907. The car quickly became an undeniable cultural sensation, inspiring the hit 1905 pop song "In My Merry Old Oldsmobile." For the first time in human history, ordinary families could own a dependable motorized vehicle that unlocked personal freedom and transformed the Sunday drive into a beloved national pastime. However, one major problem changed everything. The open-air Curved Dash lacked basic amenities like a glass windshield, weatherproofing roof, or side doors, making driving during severe weather thoroughly miserable. The mechanical band brakes also provided stopping power that was largely symbolic on steep downhill grades. Meanwhile, customer tastes began shifting toward larger multi-cylinder engines and heavier enclosed coachwork. An internal dispute erupted between Ransom Olds, who wanted to keep building cheap cars for regular folks, and his financial backers, who demanded luxury touring models. The board prevailed, leading Olds to depart in 1904 to establish the REO Motorcar Company, leaving the Curved Dash without its visionary leader. Today, the 1900-era Curved Dash stands tall as the pioneering grandfather of the modern assembly line and the car that proved personal motoring was for everyone. Pristine surviving examples now command anywhere from $40,000 to $80,000 at major classic car auctions, proudly serving as prized centerpieces for collectors worldwide. It was a plucky, charming wooden buggy born from factory ashes that completely changed global transportation forever. Did Ransom Eli Olds deserve far more historical credit than Henry Ford for creating the assembly line? Share your thoughts down in the comments below. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this history, and remember to subscribe for more classic car adventures.